So students, till the time we have just completed the post-fertilization events. The post-fertilization events means to say the events which has been completed after the fertilization process, in which we have completely divided the events in 4 different categories. The first event was the development of endosperm, because after the development of endosperm only the embryogeny can be started, and after development of endosperm the embryogenesis was taken place, where we have seen the development of monocot and dicot embryo thereon. Then afterward we have seen how the seeds are being developed. The third step was there how the fertilized ovule is going to convert in form of the seed, and after that the fourth and the final step of the fertilization, or fourth and final step after the fertilization, that has been taking place there in a flower or there in a plant, that is what the development of fruit. So now we are just going through the development of fruit. So my dear child, when the ovule is getting converted in form of the seed, so that time only the ovary, whatever is remaining there, the ovary is going to get mature, or ovary is getting mature, and that mature and ripened ovary is considered as the fruit. So what is fruit? Fruit is itself a modification of the ovary. What is fruit? Fruit is the modification of the ovary. So what we are just saying, the ripened ovary is called as the fruit. So how the fruit is being developed? So remember, as soon as the beginning of embryogeny occurs, or as soon as the embryogeny starts, so along with the embryogeny the ovarian wall and the other floral structures are also undergoing in the sum of the changes. From those changes the ovary is getting converted in form of the fruit. So what is written here, along with the embryogeny the ovarian wall and the other floral structures are undergoing in some of the changes to form the fruit from the ovary. So are you getting my point? As soon as embryogeny starts, the process will not wait till the completion of embryogeny. When the embryogeny is start, so side by side the some other ovarian structures and the floral structures will also undergo in some of the process, some of the changes, some of the modification, and due to that modification or the changes, now the fruits are being produced from the ovary. So the key concept is there, the fruit is developed from the ovary. The fruit is developed from the ovary, or fruit is originated from the ovary. So now moving on to the next, if you have to define what is fruit, so just listen carefully. What is the definition of the fruit if you have to define the fruit? So fruit is an edible product of entire gynoecium and any other floral part which is sweet, juicy, aromatic, and encloses the seed. What is fruit? Fruit is an edible product of entire gynoecium. You know very well, very straightforward statement is there. The gynoecium is going to convert in form of the fruit, the entire gynoecium, which may have the ovary and other along with the floral parts, which may have the sweetness, juiciness, aromatic, some specific smell, and encloses the seed. So seed is found to be enclosed inside the fruit only. So it is clear to you all, the fruit is what? An edible product of the gynoecium and other floral part which is sweet, juicy, aromatic, and having the seeds inside it. One important term, the pomology. Pomology is the study of the fruit and its cultivation. So study of the fruit and its cultivation is called as pomology. The important question is that we are just observing what are the changes are being occurred during the fruit development from the ovary. So the ovarian wall is undergoing in some of the changes to convert in form of the pericarp. The ovarian wall is going to undergo in some of the changes. Due to those changes they are going to form the pericarp. What is peri? Peri means peripheral, carp means the fruit. So the fruit wall is called as pericarp. The fruit wall is called as pericarp. So the fruit wall is itself divided into 3 layers, or the fruit wall is made of 3 layers. The outer one is called as epicarp, the middle one is called as the mesocarp, the inner one is called as endocarp. So what is here? The pericarp, the ovarian wall is getting converted in form of the fruit wall. That fruit wall is called as pericarp. The pericarp is a 3-layered structure in which the outer layer is called as epicarp, the middle layer is called as mesocarp, and the inner one is called as endocarp. So here, after studying these basic things, now we are moving on to the types of fruits. So the fruits are of the basically of 2 types, and one more additional type is being considered based on the type of fertilization involved or whether fertilization is there or not. But basically the fruits are of 2 types. One is called as eucarp, another one is called as pseudocarp. What is eucarp? Eu means true, carp means fruit. So eucarp are considered as the true fruit. Eucarp are considered as the true fruit. So true fruits are the fruits in which only the ovarian structure involved in formation of the fruit. Only the ovarian structure involved in the formation of fruit. Remember, there is no other floral structure is participating in the formation of fruit, then it is called as true fruit. Are you getting my point? What is eucarp? Eucarp is considered as the true fruit. The true fruit means the fruit in which only the ovary is being involved in formation of fruit. No other floral structure is involved in the formation or synthesis of the fruit. So like that example of that, mangoes, brinjal, tomato, grapes, cucumber, etc. The second category just vice versa to it. The pseudocarp. Pseudocarp is considered as the false fruit. Pseudocarp is what? Pseudocarp is a false fruit. False fruit means what? Here along with ovary some other floral structure may be involved there in the development of fruit. Are you getting my point? The true fruits are there, those who are developed from the ovary itself, but if ovary is having some other structure, if the fruit is developed from ovary as well as some other structure, that time this is called as the pseudocarp. So what is pseudocarp? When the fruit develop from ovary as well as some other floral parts, so that is what pseudocarp. The example for the pseudocarp, very important example, the apple. We are just usually considering the apple as a true fruit, but apple is a false fruit. Apple is the pseudo fruit because it is developing from the thalamus, not from the ovary. Fig, strawberry, they all are the pseudocarp, not the true carp. Third one is called as parthenocarp or parthenocarpy. Parthenocarpy is the development of fruit without fertilization, and parthenocarps are the fruit which develop without the fertilization. So very usual process, the development of the fruit without fertilization, and they will be seedless, and whenever we have to induce the development of parthenocarpic fruit, so we need to apply the auxin. Application of auxin is going to promote the formation of the seedless fruit, like that the banana. And we'll see some more points about the development of the parthenocarpic fruit. So till now it is clear to you all what is fruit. The ripened ovary is going to convert in form of the fruit, and the ovarian wall and other floral structure is going to form the fruit from the ovary. Definition, we have seen ki entire edible part of the entire gynoecium and other floral structure which is sweet, juicy and aromatic, includes a seed. Study of fruit is called as pomology. Ovarian wall getting converted in form of the pericarp. In pericarp, three layers are there: epicarp, external one, middle one mesocarp, and internal one is called as endocarp. The types of fruits, three types of the fruits we have studied till now. The eucarp, when it is the true fruit, when only ovary is involved there in the formation of only ovary is involved in the formation of the fruit, that is called as true fruits. Pseudocarp, ovary as well as some other floral structure, or somewhere we can say that ovary is not involved there in the formation of fruit. So now we are moving on to the next topic of the fruit. So students, now I am discussing some more crucial points about the fruits. These points are very much important for the NEET examination, like that. First of all, we are just going to discuss the stimulus. What are the stimulus, or from where the development of fruit began, how the development of fruit will begin, that is what the stimulus. So which events are going to provide the stimulus for the development of fruit? So there are three different stimulus are present. Which are going to promote the development of fruit. The first stimulus is produced or given by the pollination. As soon as the pollination occurs, the development of fruit starts. We'll see how the pollination will help there in the process of fruit development. Second stimulus is given by the developing seed itself. Whenever the seed development is going on, that time it is being promoted the fruit. It is going to promote the fruit development. And third stimulus is itself given by the availability of nutrient. If enough amount of nutrient are available, they are just going to provide an information. Now it is time to convert the ovary in form of the fruit. So just see what are the stimulus and how they are just going to influence the development of fruit. The first stimulus is the pollination. So here we are just going to see the role of pollination in the fruit development. So how the pollination is going to induce or how the pollination is going to stimulate the development of fruit. So for that you have remember what happens at the time of pollination. The pollen grains are being received on the surface of stigma. Their compatibility checking is done by the stigma. Now they are being germinated. As soon as their germination occurs, their germination of the pollen grain is going to induce some of the changes there in the ovarian structure. What happens during the pollination? When the pollination occurs, due to the germination of the pollen grain, the ovarian structures are undergoing in the process of changes. Why this is so? Because the growing pollen grain or developing pollen grain are releasing some specific chemicals or the hormones. Those hormones are called as auxins. So due to the presence of auxin is very important hormone which regulates the growth of fruit. So developing pollen grain or germinating pollen grains are going to release the auxin, and that auxin is going to induce the changes in the ovarian structure. So are you getting my point? What happened? How the pollination is going to help out in the process of pollination? How the pollination help out in the process of fruit development? Pollination increases the level of auxin, and that auxin is going to make the changes in the ovarian structure. Now as I have discussed earlier only, the second stimulus for the development of fruit is given or provided by the seed itself. So, and we have started with the discussion only. The fruit formation and the seed development is not a process that are successor process, or they are not the process that one process gets complete then the next one will start, but these processes are the simultaneous process. As soon as the seed formation starts, as soon as the embryogeny starts, there are the changes occurs in the ovarian structure to promote the formation of the fruit. So how the seed is going to help out in the process of fruit development? The developing seed is itself is a great source of some of the hormones. The developing seed, to ensure the proper development of itself, is going to produce some specific hormones. The hormones are auxins, gibberellins and cytokinins. Are you getting my point? The developing seed itself releasing some of the hormones. Those hormones are called as auxins, gibberellins and cytokinin. These hormones are responsible for the normal growth and development of the fruits. You can understand auxin increase the cell division, increase the cell size. Gibberellin, cell size increase. Cytokinin will increase the number of the cells. So enlargement of the fruit, increasing the cell division, everything will be promoted by all these hormones, and these hormones are being released by the developing seed itself. So now we are moving on to the next one, next topic of ours. We have seen the third type of the fruit is called as parthenocarpic fruit. Parthenocarpic fruit means what? The fruit which is developed. Parthenocarpic fruit means the fruit which is developed by the process of parthenocarpy. And parthenocarpy means the development of fruit without the fertilization, where the fertilization is not taking place in the development of fruit. Earlier also we have just seen the concept. Normally what happens, the sexual reproduction is involved. Sexual reproduction involves what? The sexual reproduction involves the fertilization. But sometimes what happens, the fertilization is not possible. Sometimes the fertilization is not involved therein. So on that situation what happens? The fruit is developed without the fertilization. So development of the fruit without fertilization is called as the parthenocarpy, and such kind of the fruits are called as parthenocarpic fruit. These fruits are very much of the economic importance since they are the seedless. They are having very few amount or very less amount of the seed, and that is what the beneficial for the consumer, those who are consuming them. Some of the fruits are now artificially being developed by the farmers, horticulturalists, so that the interested or the we can say what the desired quality of the fruit can be maintained thereon. So how this parthenocarpic fruit can be developed? So first of all, the first process, the fruit may develop due to the development of ovary, but without pollination. What happens? The normal process is there. The fruit may develop by the ovary. Development of ovary should be completed. The development of ovary is completely normal, but there should be no pollination. If pollination is not possible, then what will happen? There will be no pollen grain. If no pollen grains are there, so no pollen grain means what? No male gametes will be produced, and if no male gametes are there means what? There is no chance of any fertilization, and no fertilization means no seed formation is occurs thereon. So this one is clear to you all. कि ovary is growing normally, and due to the normal development of ovary, fruit can be developed. But why it is seedless, why it is without fertilization? Because in some of the cases the pollination gets failed, so that time there is no formation of seed occurs. The rest of process will not be completed, but the fruit development will be there. Second process by which, suppose the pollination occurs. First one, if the pollination gets failed, then it's very wonderful thing, then it's okay. If the pollination gets failed, then there is no need of continuing the another process. But suppose if pollination is occurring, then how the parthenocarpic fruits are being developed? So sometime what happens, the pollination is completely present, but the pollination does not leads to the development of male gamete, or whatever the male gametes are being produced due to the germination of microspore, they are not viable, they are not able to fertilize the egg cell. Are you getting my point? Pollination is normal, pollination occurs which induces the development of fruit. As we have seen, the pollination may result in release of the or increasing the content of auxin, which will increase the qualitative changes in the ovary. So that is what the pollination will occur, but pollination will not lead to the fertilization, because sometime what happen, whatever the male gametes are produced, they are not viable to fertilize the egg cells, or the male gametes are not able to be produced therein. So in case of the first, the fertilization, the development of ovary was there, but without pollination. The citrus family fruit, banana and the pineapple are the example for such kind of the development. Second time, if the pollination occurs but fertilization is fails there, so the orchids are example for same kind of the condition. Now the third situation, suppose pollination is successful, fertilization is successful, then too there is a chances to develop the parthenocarpic fruits. Then too there is a chances to develop the parthenocarpic fruit. Are you getting my point? Suppose the pollination is successful, fertilization is also successful, that is being took place, but what happens after the fertilization? The embryo is getting aborted due to the abortion of embryo. Fertilization is successful, pollination successful, but embryo is getting aborted, so that time also the fruit will develop without the fertilization and the seedless fruits. So example for such kind of the fruits are grapes, peaches and the cherries. And finally, the most important, where human intelligence is being involved, because nowadays this is a good practice to develop the seed, develop the fruits without the seeds, because that are of the agronomic importance, that are of the commercial importance. So what we are just going to do, artificially we are just going to spray the, artificially we are just going to maintain the low level of auxin and gibberellin. Due to that, the ovary is getting matured without pollination and other thing. So how that is being artificially stimulated? Due to the low level of auxin and gibberellins. So students, after the development of parthenocarpic fruit, the last topic in the fruit is how the fruits are getting matured, how the raw fruits is getting converted in form of the ripened fruit. So how the ripening occurs. So just understand what is the meaning of ripening. What happens ki during the normal growth and development of the fruit, the complete cell division occurs, complete enlargement occurs, complete accumulation of the material occurs inside the fruit. Are you getting my point? During the normal growth and development, the fruit is going to store the materials inside. The fruit is going to enlarge itself. Fruit is going to increase the number of cell inside. So after the complete division, after the complete enlargement, after the complete storage of the material, now the fruit is undergoing in some of the qualitative changes. I'm not going to say that quantitative. Quantitative is a different term. The qualitative changes are going to take place there in the fruit, so that it could get converted in form of the ripened fruit. So all the qualitative changes occurs in a raw fruit, that is going to convert them in form of the ripened fruit. So qualitative changes in a mature fruit after the division and enlargement is called as ripening. So what are these qualitative changes? So just understand. You can understand well ki whenever you are just whenever you are just going to touch raw fruit and you are just going to touch the ripened fruit of the same breed, so you can feel that the raw fruit is hard enough while the ripened fruit is soft enough. And second thing is there, the ripened fruit is having juicy, pulpy, and these are the material, these are the changes what we are observing there on. So first thing is that the raw fruit is tough or tight, while the ripened fruit is very much soft. So how this occurs? So this is just because of one reason that you knows very well. The cell wall of the plant cell is having primary cell wall, secondary cell wall, and these primary cell wall are joined together with the help of middle lamella. If you have remembered, this middle lamella is made of calcium and magnesium pectate. So this middle lamella is providing the firmness and toughness to the plant cell wall. So whenever the ripening of the fruit occurs, so that time this middle lamella is getting dissolved. So due to the dissolution of the middle lamella, what happen? The fruit pulp is going to be softens and the fruit is going to convert in form of the softer structure. What is there? Due to the dissolution of the middle lamella, now the fruit pulp is getting softer one and the increased juicy pulps thereon. The next thing is there, the change in the taste. Change in the taste means initially the fruit may be sour in the taste, may have some another taste, but after the ripening of the fruit, normally they are sweet in the taste. So why they are sweet in the taste? Because whatever the store component are there, like that organic material, some other stored materials thereon, all those stored materials are just going to convert in form of the soluble sugar. Due to the conversion of these materials in form of soluble sugar, usually the soluble sugar is in form of the fructose only. So the fruit is having the sweet taste. So this is because of what? The hydrolytic conversion of the stored material. Whatever the material are stored there in the raw fruit, they are being hydrolytically digested and converted in form of the soluble sugar. So this is the second change. The third change what we are observing, the change in color. Change in color, usually the raw fruits are green in color, but the ripened fruits are going to adopt a variety of the color. Sometimes they may be appear in the yellow form, they may appear in the red color, they may appear in any of the color. So if you remember, there are three types of the plastid: leucoplast, chromoplast, and the chloroplast. So the green color of the plant cell is because of the chloroplast. So whenever, and you knows very well, these plastids are interchangeable. So whenever the fruit formation occur, whenever the ripening of fruit occur, so at that time the qualitative changes involve also the conversion of chloroplast into the chromoplast, and even though the leucoplast is also going to convert in form of the chromoplast. How you can understand like that? The peel or pericarp of the fruit is having green in color. Normally that green in color is going to convert in the variety of the color. So that is what chloroplast to the chromoplast. But the pulp of the fruit is also white in color earlier, but this is also going to convert in the variety of the color. So that is because of leucoplast to the chromoplast. And here once again, if you could remember, the leucoplast is itself the stored amount of is having the stored source of the material. So that materials are being digested and finally they are being just converted in form of the chromoplast. So to provide color, some more pigments are being accumulated there. Those pigments are called as anthocyanins. So anthocyanins are being accumulated there and to provide the color. One more thing, because the flavor is present there in the fruit, the ripened fruit or the mature fruit is having the flavor therein, they are having a particular smell. So all these changes occurs in the ripened fruit because of accumulation of the flavoring component. Are you getting my point? And lastly, the raw fruit is going to convert by the influence of an internal hormone. That hormone is called as ethylene hormone, and because ethylene is responsible for conversion of raw fruit into the ripened fruit, that is called as what? Fruit ripening hormone. Are you getting my point? Ethylene is a fruit ripening hormone. This is very important question, just take care of that. Ethylene is a fruit ripening hormone. So once again I'm just going to explain the process of ripening of the fruit. So in ripening of the fruit, what happened? The raw fruit is undergoing in the changes, qualitative changes. The first change is that softening of the fruit, just because of the dissolution of the middle lamella. The sweet nature of the fruit, the sweet taste of the fruit due to the dissolved sugar content, so that is being produced by the hydrolysis of the stored material. Third one is the change in color because of chloroplast is going to change in form of the chromoplast. Fourth one is that the leucoplast inside the pericarp is going to convert in form of the chromoplast. That is what going to provide a specific color to the pulp only. And accumulation of the some flavoring component that provide aroma, flavor, taste, everything to the plant. And finally the ethylene is considered as the fruit ripening hormone. Now, so the development of fruit is completed, the ripening of fruit is completed, everything we have completed in the process of post fertilization event. All 4 events are being completed now. Now I am just going to summarize all the changes that has been observed, that has been occurred after the fertilization. Means what? What are the changes in a ovule, what are the changes in a female reproductive system or gynosium occurs after the fertilization. So just see the post fertilization changes what are there. First of all, the ovary is going to convert in form of the fruit. You knows very well. Just now we have just seen. Remember, these points are very much important. So ovary is going to convert in form of the fruit. Ovule is going to convert in form of the seed. So ovule is going to convert in form of seed. So ovary is forming the fruit. Ovule is going to form the seed. And ovary is encircling the seed inside. That means what? If the angiosperm plant, so the seeds are being covered externally by the fruit. Ovarian wall is going to form the fruit wall, that is called as pericarp. The integument of the ovule is going to convert in form of the seed coat. You knows very well, because ovule is going to form the seed. So whatever the external structure of the seed is called as seed coat, that is being formed by the integument. And you have remembered very well, I think we have discussed this one. The outer integument is going to form the testa and inner one is going to form the tegmen. The nucellus usually consumed as this is required for the providing the nutrition, but in some of the cases it may present there in form of the rudimentary structure. They may be persistent. So such kind of the seeds are called as perispermic seeds. So whenever nucellus is present, so that time this is called as what? Perisperm. The egg cell is going to convert in form of the embryo, and that inactive embryo is called as seed. So egg cell is going to convert in form of the embryo. The next chain, the synergids and antipodal cells, you knows very well. All the synergids and antipodal cells are going to degenerate properly. They are just degenerating. The hilum or hilum of the ovule is going to form the hilum of the seeds. The funicle is going to form the stalk of the seed. Somewhere it is present, sometime it may not be present there in the seed also. So funicle is going to form the stalk of the seed. So this is not necessary that should be present always, but sometime it is being present. The micropyle remains as the micropyle of the seed. If you have remember, in the previous lecture only we have discussed the micropyle is present in form of the small pore, and which facilitates the entry of oxygen and water for the purpose of germination. The chalaza of ovule is itself present as the chalaza of seed inside. So once again I am just going to revise all these things. What happens? The ovary is going to form the fruit. Ovule is going to form the seed. Ovarian wall is going to form the pericarp. Integument is going to form the seed coat. The outer integument will form the testa. Inner integument will form the tegmen. The nucellus generally degenerates, but if it is present, if it is persistent, so that time this is called as perisperm. And in those seeds where it is present, the seeds are called as perispermic seeds. The egg cell is going to form the embryo. The synergid and antipodal cells are going to degenerate. The hilum of the ovule is going to form the hilum of the seeds. The funicle is forming the stalk of the seed. This is not necessary, always it should be present. Whenever it is present, so it will be, otherwise it is not required to be present thereon. Micropyle will form the pore, small opening there in the seed, that is required for entry of air and water, oxygen and water during the germination. Chalaza of the ovule is going to form the chalaza of the seed. Dear students, here we are just able to complete, here we are just completing all the changes occurs after the fertilization. From the beginning only we have seen how the endosperm is being formed. Now after that we have seen how the embryogeny occurs of the monocot, dicot. Then we have seen the seed development. Now finally the fruit development. Now the complete structure is being completed thereon. Remember, we have discussed all the changes summarized here. What are those changes occurs? You have to go through one more thing by yourself. Even though I have just covered all the things there in my previous lectures, the ploidy level of the different type of the structures produced during the embryonic development of the cell. Different type of the ploidy level of the different structures produced during the cell. Ploidy level means to say which cell is diploid, which cell is triploid, which cell is haploid, which cell is tetraploid, like that. You have to go through that every time. Whenever I was explaining that time, I have just made it clear. These structures are haploid, these structures are diploid, these structures are polyploid, whatsoever is there, because these questions are very much important in the NEET examination. And even though I just provided some of the example of the numerical question based on the ploidy level also there in endosperm only. So remember, one clue is there कि whatever the structures those who are sporophytic in nature. Sporophytic in nature means the structures which are developed or originated or produced from the sporophyte, those are always diploid, and the structure those who are produced from the gametophyte, they all are haploid in nature. Are you getting my point? The structures which are developed from the sporophyte, they all are diploid in nature, and the structures which are being produced from the sporophyte, produced from the gametophyte, they all are haploid in nature. So the structures which are sporophytic in nature, those are from the sporophyte, you know very well. Funicle is a sporophyte, chalaza is sporophyte, the integument is a sporophyte, like that. All these structures are sporophyte in nature. Nucellus is a sporophytic structure, so these all structures are diploid in nature. While gametophytic structure, male gamete haploid, female gamete haploid. Only in case of the embryo sac, the polar nuclei or the synkaryon is diploid in nature, but that is n plus n, not complete 2n. Two nucleus are coming from two poles, that is are being, so synergids produced thereon, that is haploid. Antipodal cells haploid, egg cell haploid. When endosperm is being produced, that time this is triploid. So remember, only endosperm is triploid, but here also I have just provided you some of the cases where endosperm may be haploid, like that in case of gymnosperm, because that is being produced before the fertilization, so the endosperm is haploid in nature. And in case of Oinothera, that is diploid in nature. Somewhere it is absent also, that I have just given all the example, everything there. So now in the next lecture, so till the time we have just completed all the things related to the embryonic development of the flower. Now some more points are being left out. Some specific mode of reproduction that has been observed there in different type of the plants, even though they are the sexually reproducing plant, but they have developed some alternative way of the reproduction. So that we'll discuss in the next lecture. So till the time, thank you.